morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of WRECKS. So today, we're going to be taking a look at Galarian Stunfisk. Galarian Stunfisk was, for me, one of the more pleasant surprises during my journey through Pokemon Sword. I didn't realise Stunfisk had a Galarian form, but it totally does. And it kind of pops up out of the ground as you're running around in the game. It's really, really cool. I was like, oh, what's that little Pokeball looking thing? Oh no, it's a Galarian Stunfisk. Now, Galarian Stunfisk becomes a metal type. Metal type is great, and we're going to see in a minute, particularly relevant for this Pokemon. It means you can reduce damage done to yourself in a number of ways. Metal Frying Pan, which also reduces your weakness, Metal Goggles, which also prevents dropping damage counters on you, and something like Metal Core Barrier, not to mention Lucario and Melmetal's GX attack, which reduces damage done to all of your metal Pokemon by 20 for the remainder of the game. And by 20, I mean 30. Plus, you're hitting weakness against stuff like Gardevoir and Sylveon and other pesky fairy Pokemon. And you've got that new Metal Patch card, or Metal Sorcerer as I think it's actually called, which allows you to attach a metal energy from your discard to one of your benched metal Pokemon. And that new Berserker card, which makes all of your metal Pokemon do an extra 20 damage. And it is a great time to be a metal Pokemon. When Sword and Shield drops, metal Pokemon are loving it. Now, a retreat cost of 2 is larger than we might like, but we do have that new Balloon card coming, which will reduce your retreat cost by 2, so that'll cover that. We have a weakness to fire, which is awkward with all of the Welder decks running around. And we've got a resistance to grass, which isn't huge at the moment, but you never know whether it will be in the future. And at the end of the day, right, it's still just nice to have a resistance sometimes. It's better than not having a resistance. But what does it actually do? Well, our translation here comes from the lovely David Hockman over at limitlesstcg.com/translations. And we've got a lovely and rather unique ability here. If this is your active Pokemon and is damaged by an attack from your opponent's active Pokemon, discard an energy from the attacking Pokemon. This is lovely. This is going to really, really hurt your opponent. Now, we've seen plenty of if you are attacked, bad thing happens over the years. Like pretty much every Druddigan card we ever got ended up with some variation of rough skin, whereby you had to take 20 damage to attack them. Seriously, the one from Dragon Majesty has it. The one from Legendary Treasures has it. The one from Noble Victories has it, although to be fair, they are like the same ones. So there's a few of them around. And we've even seen a bunch of Pokemon whereby if you attack them, you get poisoned. Dragalge would be a nice standard example of this. But I don't remember, and please do, if I've missed one, let me know in the comment section. I'd genuinely love to know. But I don't remember a Pokemon that discards your energy when it's attacked. That's kind of cool. And of course, there's going to be great little combos here if you pop a bunch of other stuff in. Maybe you play a bit of the old Crushing Hammer, or some other kind of way to remove energy. And then you just sit in the active. And here's the thing. Here's why Galarian Stunfisk really has to be a metal Pokemon to make the most of it. Because you can make this a pretty beefy Pokemon. What you can do is sit yourself in the active, but after having used an attack from Lucario and Melmetal, the GX attack. So you're taking 30 less from attacks. So all of a sudden you might technically only have 120 HP, but it's basically 150. And then you whack a Metal Frying Pan on there, so you've still only actually got 120 HP, but you need to take 180 damage to be knocked out, bearing in mind you now don't have any kind of weakness. And this just keeps building up. So now all of a sudden your opponent may well be 2-3 hit KOing you, except every time they attack they lose their energy. Now if the attacking Pokemon is using triple acceleration energy, it's not a problem. Triple acceleration energy falls off when you attack anyway, so you're not keeping it, it doesn't matter. But the thing is, there are going to be a whole bunch of Pokemon that really don't want to lose this. Now, generally speaking, we're talking single energy decks here. Decks that attach an energy and then attack. Something like Oranguru. Now, Oranguru probably wouldn't work too much. This is a good time to mention another card that will thwart your plans here. Recycle Energy. Recycle Energy bounces back to your hand if it gets discarded from play. So if you do pop a Recycle Energy on and attack, and then it gets discarded by Galarian Stunfisk, it bounces back to your hand ready to attach next turn. But even this isn't the end of the world. Because you see, they can't attach to another Pokemon. They are constantly reattaching the same energy to the same Pokemon. They're not building up a big store of energy. And of course, if you're against a Pokemon that needs a specific kind of energy, this can be worse. So if you take Naganadel GX, really nice attack, 170 anywhere on the field. Yes, I know that your opponent could hit the bench, but all you need to do is drop a Mew down and your opponent can't hit the bench and has to hit the active. Cool. So they're hitting you, but the problem is they use one Psychic free colourless energy. So what they're probably going to do here is one of two things. Either triple acceleration energy, or they're going to use fire energy with stuff like Welder. Well, now they attack you, and then they lose their Psychic energy. And they're probably only playing 2 or 3 Psychic energy because they're generally thinking, well, when Naganadel gets KO'd, I lose the energy, but I lose a Naganadel as well, so it doesn't matter. But now they lose a Psychic energy when they're attacking, they might not have enough energy to keep using this attack over and over again. And it's very, very relevant here to point out that you're a single prize Pokemon. So you're forcing your opponent to take more KOs to win the game, while at the same time getting rid of their energy as they're taking those KOs. That's a recipe for running out of energy. And maybe some decks you can't. Maybe decks like Malamar, you're not going to run them out of energy. But even then, Malamar only attaches energy from the discard to a bench Pokemon, so now they've got to get back to the bench to get the energy, and that might not be terribly easy. Maybe they're playing Welder and they can just reattach energy, but even then, they've got to reattach the energy. They've got to find the energy. They've got to find the Welder. And even if they do, they're still one energy attachment down from where they would have been without this ability. Maybe it's a little bit of annoyance, or maybe you can play this to actually run decks out of energy when played in conjunction with some other annoying cards. Now there is an attack here as well. It's not a phenomenal attack, but it's a nice attack on a Pokemon that's sitting in the active trying to hurt you. Which it is. 1 metal, 1 colourless energy, 30 damage. Flip a coin till you hit tails. This attack does 30 more for each heads. So you just got to think how lucky you are. You've just got to try and figure out how lucky you feel. It's not a giant attack. It's not even a particularly reliable attack. But it's one of these attacks where you're sitting in the active to try and hurt their energy attachments anyway. Maybe you get lucky and flip a few heads. The thing is, let's say you want to flip 1 heads and do 60 damage. You've got a 50% chance. Let's say you want to flip 2 heads and do 90 damage. You've got a 25% chance. Let's say you want to flip 3 heads and do 120 damage. You've got a 12.5% chance, 1 in 8. So you're not probably doing a huge amount of damage here, but you're doing a little bit while you're getting rid of your opponent's energy, and there's always a possibility that you're just going to fire off some gigantic attack, hitting 7 or 8 heads in a row, and you know that's going to be funny when it does happen. Unfortunately, we don't have anything to reflip at the moment. We used to have Trick Coin that would allow you to do it, but that rotated out. We used to have Victini that allowed you to do it, but that rotated out. Interesting to note, they could not be used in conjunction with each other. Trick Coin didn't just stop using one Trick Coin, although it's a tool, so how would you really use more? Well, I suppose maybe on some. But anyway, the point is, even with Trick Coin, it said you couldn't use any other effects that let you reflip, so it wouldn't work with something like Victini. It's all a moot point, unfortunately. We don't have any of these kind of effects at the moment. It's not the best attack. It's not a phenomenally reliable attack. And if I'm honest with you, you're probably not going to play this for the attack. But if you're playing it for the ability anyway, it needs to really sit in the active. So you need an attack. And when you're just using it for the ability, having the attack as a bonus, it's not too bad, ladies and gentlemen. It's not too bad at all. So let's give it between 3 and 4 Wassies. Fun card, interesting card, might end up being at the centre of a really good energy denial deck, might end up being a fun little tech, might be a card we all look at and can never quite figure out how to use. So there we go. But I'd like to know what you think about this, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassiePlays, where you can join the conversation about a whole bunch of other games. They don't have Pokemon in, but they are a lot of fun. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.